Do not be deceived. That was not the Punisher at the end of episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again. That was someone else entirely. Welcome to Haynes for Heroes, I'm Alex Haynes, and if it's a movie or TV show about superheroes, you know I'm all over it. And I'm all over explaining the real culprits behind that heinous crime at the end of episode 3, the Anti-Vigilante Task Force. And make sure to stay to the end to find out how this task force connects to the rest of the MCU. Spoilers ahead. So at the end of episode 3 of Daredevil Born Again, we see Hector Ayala being found not guilty for the murder of that police officer down in the subway. And as soon as he goes free, he adorns his white tiger costume and goes out on patrol. But during his patrol, a mysterious hooded figure wearing a Punisher logo on his chest comes out of nowhere and shoots White Tiger in the head. R.I.P. White Tiger. But because the murderer was wearing the Punisher logo, this leads to many people believing that this was Frank Castle, aka the Punisher, who killed White Tiger. But the real culprits behind this murder were a radical group of police officers within the NYPD. And you can make out these police officers because they all have tattoos of the Punisher logo on them. These cops believe that they need to take the law into their own hands and dish out their own brands of justice, even if that means breaking the law to do so. Like the 2 cops beating up that informant in the subway, or as we just mentioned, the 1 cop killing White Tiger. But at the end of episode 3, Wilson Fisk is talking about how he plans to double down on his plans to take down vigilantes, and I believe he's going to use this group within the police department as his Anti-Vigilante Task Force. Now in the comics, there isn't one official Anti-Vigilante Task Force, but rather multiple different groups with the same concept. For example, there are specific task forces designed to help take down vigilantes like Punisher, Spider-Man, and Daredevil, all 3 of whom were mentioned by Wilson Fisk back in episode 2. You would also have other groups like S.H.I.E.L.D. who would hunt down superheroes during the events of Civil War. But the most notable version of this task force that relates directly to this series is from the Devil's Reign comic, where Mayor Wilson Fisk creates a personalized task force to hunt down superheroes. And if this series version of the Anti-Vigilante Task Force goes the same route as the task force in the comic books do, then that means that this series will connect directly to an upcoming MCU project. Here's why. It's reported that the Anti-Vigilante Task Force will be present in both this season and season 2 of Daredevil Born Again. And you know, they'll have higher tech weapons, they'll be heavily armed, and they'll definitely be dangerous for superheroes like Daredevil, but they'll still be outmatched, especially if they go up against other superheroes like Luke Cage, Spider-Man, Iron Fist. Like, these are still regular human beings. But there is something in the MCU that can make this task force a much bigger threat. Because in the Devil's Reign comics, the Anti-Vigilante Task Force went by a completely different name. The Thunderbolts. That's right, just like the Thunderbolts in the movie coming out. The Thunderbolts team included the likes of US Agent and Taskmaster, both of whom are in the upcoming Thunderbolts movie. By the time season 2 of Daredevil Born Again comes out in 2026, the Thunderbolts movie would have already happened. But within that time, Wilson Fisk could recruit the Thunderbolts into being a part of his Anti-Vigilante Task Force. And if the Thunderbolts are the Anti-Vigilante Task Force in season 2 of Daredevil Born Again, Daredevil has no way of being able to contend with them, so he needs to seek out help. And that could be how the MCU brings back other Netflix heroes like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, the Punisher, and if everything is perfect in the world, they can bring Spider-Man in too. But what do you think of the Anti-Vigilante Task Force? How do you think they're gonna work within Daredevil Born Again? Let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and you wanna see more, throw a baton at the like button and then click on the boxes right here, and I'll see you in a bit.